What is going on, all you Pokemon collecting maniacs out there? This is Ryan, the PikaPikaPaPa, and here we are once again looking at the cards that have been moving and shaking the most on TCG Player over the last week. And one of the things I love about this list is I honestly never know what the heck is going to be on it. We have seen such a wide variety of cards, from new to old to promos to energies. I mean, you name it, it has been on this list. And again, this is coming straight from TCG Player. So when you think about it, I mean, the breadth and depth of what is on TCG Player and the big role that it plays in the Pokemon investing and collecting space, like anytime we can get this type of information from them, I think it is incredibly relevant, incredibly valuable, and we have a ton of fun with it every single week. And I'm gonna tell you right now, spoiler alert, this week is no different. Now, there are some things on here. So there's gonna be some Shrouded Fable cards on here, brand new set, no surprise. There's some cards in there that are gonna be on this list, which I was excited about. But as always, there's some older stuff on here, there's some newer stuff, and everything in between. Now, as I said, we do this list every single week. We've been doing it for a while. We have no signs of slowing down. So if you get into this video and you enjoy the content, hit a thumbs up button. If you have questions or comments, drop them down below. And if you want to be the first to see it every week, hit that subscribe button so you get notifications when the video drops. Those three small things go a long way in helping my small channel out, and I really appreciate it. So with all of that out of the way, we're actually going to be starting this list off with a card that was actually on here 5 weeks ago, and no surprise, 151 has been on a tear really ever since it came out. But as I'm going to show you in just a minute, and as you're going to see in another video I'm doing later this week, 151 is starting to kind of break out a little bit. Now, it could just be a blip on the radar, doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to continue, but this is the card, Blastoise, and this is the price graph from 5 weeks ago. And one of the things that we called out was this pattern that we saw in a bunch of the 151 cards. We saw this drop and up and drop and up, and it really had this well-defined support line, but it also had a really well-defined resistance line. We found that a ton of these cards were just kind of operating with a defined high and a defined low. But now, when you look at it this week, and this isn't the only card that's doing it, you see here, now it just started, so again, this is not a sign of a new trend, but it is performing differently than it has in the past. You'll see here that over the last couple weeks, it has kind of broken through the high and the low bounds, right? It is above where the high was before, and it's holding on. In the past, you see that they're pretty sharp peaks and valleys, right? It goes up and it immediately comes down. Well, it has gone up, and for the last couple weeks, it has actually been holding on pretty well. So again, I'm not a spoiler alert, but I will tell you this. I got a video coming up in a couple days. I've already pulled the data for it. You're going to see a very similar behavior in the Charizard card from 151 as well. So the two big chase cards are both exhibiting this kind of break from the way they performed in the past. And one of the things that I'm most excited about is this 151 restock. It wasn't super big. Now, that doesn't mean that they can't reprint it in the future into the ground. It doesn't mean that we won't see Pokemon Center exclusive ETBs and regular ETBs and ultra premium collection boxes again. I have no idea if that will happen or not. But I will say that the original restock that we've seen certainly has not seemed to be overly impactful to the market, at least not to these first two chase cards. So I thought that was a really cool takeaway, and I was excited to see this card on the list, and I was more excited to kind of see it break trend there, at least for the last couple weeks, and we'll have to see if it's able to hold on. Next card, as I said, we see cards of all different ages from all different eras on this list, and if you watch my channel, you see that we talk about, you know, the top 20 singles cards from all the sets that have booster boxes in the XY era. We do it for the Sun and Moon era, right? We do it for Sword and Shield era, and we have seen a lot of positive movement in the Sun and Moon and in the XY era, especially in the XY era. For all of 2024, the top 20 singles cards from all the sets that have booster boxes in the XY era have been going absolutely insane. And we've got this Mew EX, right? This is from the Legendary Treasure set, a set with some age to it. This is a full art, and you will see, I know that this is supposed to be a video on week over week, but when I went out and I blew out the price graph for this Mew EX full art right here, for the course of the year, it's up 36% over the course of the year, and I thought that was worth noting. Yes, if you look to the far right, you see more of an aggressive up and kind of a flattening out there. But this is not a 1 week of strong growth, right? This thing has been on fire for most of the year, and I have been saying this for a long time, and I don't blame you if you don't take it for granted. I don't blame you if you don't act on it, but I will say this. At least for the last year, we have seen a lot of momentum in some of these cards from the XY era and back a couple more eras. Some of the eras that are kind of in like this forgotten about time of Pokemon, if you will. If they have big name Pokemon on it and awesome art, this is awesome art, right? This is an absolutely beautiful card. So if you have big name Pokemon with awesome art like this, and they're flying under the radar, maybe in that $20, $30 range. We have seen so many of these cards appreciate in price because, again, they're starting to get some age behind them, right? They're starting to get a little bit older. They're starting to get a little bit rarer. So, of course, as cards start to get a little more age behind them, people get a little more interested in them. As they become harder and harder to find, prices go up. So it's been really interesting to see this card and so many others that we've been doing on this series follow the exact same pattern. Some older cards that are maybe a little bit off the radar have been growing very nicely, very steadily, and very organically, right? Not like what we saw in Sword and Shield where we saw these crazy alt art spikes and then they all came back down. Like, this is healthy, solid, organic growth over the course of a year for a really beautiful card from a really great set. So I thought that was an interesting takeaway, and again, just another one of the many reasons why I love this list so much. So now, guess what? The rest of it gets a little bit narrower. We're going to be talking about Shrouded Fable cards, and we're going to start off with this, the basic energy, because listen, I don't make the list. Maybe not the most exciting card in the world, but TCG Player called out, listen, if you want to make an energy card exciting, you know what you do? You slap a gold border on it and you make it hard to pull, because even in our previous version, the video that we did last week, right, we had a card from Heart Gold Soul Silver that was the exact same, right? It had some awesome foil to it. It had a gold border around it, and it was going crazy. So this was an awesome takeaway. This card, it was a $10 card, right? We're talking about over the course of the month, and then over the last, since August 24th, it has really, I mean, it's doubled in value, right? It's gone from $10 all the way up to $20.46. So Pokemon has something to do with that, you know? Like I said, if you want to make an energy card exciting, make it hard to pull, slap a gold border on it, and YOLO it, because obviously it seems to be working because the market loves this, having this card all the way up at $20. Now, the market necessarily doesn't love it as much. The Cassiopeia card. This was supposed to be the chase card, I guess, from Shrouded Fable, although if you saw my set review of Shrouded Fable, it was really kind of slim pickings to find what the big chase card was going to be, but this is the one that we thought might be it, and it has not performed well. You'll see over the last month, it was up over $100 when it first came out. It is down 42% at $62. It looks like it's flattening out a little bit. We will have to wait and see. I don't hear a lot about this card from a gameplay perspective. I will say, I do like the Sylveon in the background. I think that's a very nice touch. I am in the computer electronics space, so this card speaks to me. I love the fact that she's sitting there grinding on the computer, so I actually like this card, and I will pick it up for the personal collection. But when I'm thinking about an investment grade card, there's not a lot in Shrouded Fable that gets me excited. So this one was on the radar simply because it's been falling in price, and I don't know how low will be. I mean, to be honest with you, this card is right in line with the same price as Iono. Iono's in the $60 range right now, and Cassiopeia, as much as I love you, you got nothing on Iono. The Iono artwork is amazing. It's from Paldea Evolved, which is amazing. Probably the most playable trainer card out there right now, so that just gives you some perspective as to where this Cassiopeia might end up in the long run. Certainly, I would believe, below that Iono card. Now, the next one, which actually has ended up being, I won't call it the chase card, but we'll call it the most expensive card in Shrouded Fable so far, it's Earthen Vessel, okay? And again, not knocking trainer cards, not knocking non-Pokemon cards. They all have a wonderful place in the game. They have a wonderful place in the hobby. They have a wonderful place in collections. But when this ends up being the chase card after a set has been out for about a month, I don't know. I don't think that the set has a very bright future in terms of collectability, and probably not from an investability standpoint, although I did follow the same pattern that I follow with every single set. So no matter what, I always buy a couple cases of Pokemon Center exclusive Elite Trainer boxes, simply because I think, especially in a specialty set like this, guess what? It's going to be the absolute rarest sealed product that you can get. I do think that they are in more limited supplies. I don't think a lot of people are going to buy it, so maybe it'll be short printed, and who knows, maybe it'll be a dark horse collector's item further in the future. But Earthen Vessel right here, hey, good to you. You're up to $67. Obviously, you're on the list for a reason. A lot of people are buying and selling you right now, so I thought it was worth calling out, and I thought it was cool to kind of complete the list of Shrouded Fable. We've seen 3 different cards from there. We've seen the 2 cards that are the most expensive in the Cassiopeia and the Earthen Vessel, so at least a lot of people are buying these cards, and I have a very strong feeling, I don't like to give guarantees, but I have a very strong feeling that the people who want them are acquiring them now, so I don't think we will see any Shrouded Fable on the list next week. But I will give this selfless plug. Listen, we're about to do, the very next video is going to be the top 10 cards that have exchanged hands the most on TCG Player last month. I have the data together. I'm going to shoot it in just a little bit. I'm telling you right now, that card lineup is fire. So if you enjoyed this video, I guarantee you're going to love the next one. And if you made it to the end of this video and you haven't hit the subscribe button yet, what are you doing? Hit that subscribe button. We'd love to have you as a member of this community. If you like what you see, give us a thumbs up. And if you have questions or comments, drop them down below. I appreciate you more than I can say. I hope you have an epic one, and I'll talk to you soon. See you, everybody. Bye.